Hey guys, Drew up here, and welcome to the 11th video in our Java game programming series. And today we are going to be adding more render code to our renderer and changing some things around just so it becomes a little bit more, nice. So the first thing we want to do is we can draw images, we can draw text, we can just set individual pixels. What if we want to actually draw a rectangle, just like a standard rectangle? Well, we don't have code for that, so let's add that in, because standard code for drawing rectangles is usually pretty handy. So I have a public void, I'm going to say draw rect, and I'm going to give it an int x, int y, int width, and an int height. And it's just a standard for loop. And I like using y and x for this. I'm going to call this off x, off y, or offset x, offset y. So int y equals, you can just set it up as int 0. Y is less than width. Now actually we're going to need this to be less than or equal to width. Otherwise we'll have a missing pixel in the final code. And we got to do it again for our height. Now actually this is going to be a hollow rectangle. So we actually want two separate for loops for this. This isn't width, this is height. I just typed width again. There we go. There we go. And so to draw a rectangle, we'll just set the pixels. Offset x plus offset x, and then this would be y plus off y. And we need a color here because we don't actually have a color, so I'm going to put that at the end. It's in color. And we'll do color. And now we need to copy this. So that's going to do the left line of a rectangle. Now we need to do the right line of a rectangle, which we need to add the width to our offset x. And then we're going to just copy this, paste it down here, and just copy this over, same thing. But we just swap the roles around here. And then y becomes off y. And this becomes off y plus height. There we go. And let's just give that a test real quick. So in my game manager, I'm going to run up. There you go. Alright, draw rect. 10, 10, and we'll say 32 by 32. And let's make it whatever color that is. It's going to be like a purplish color. I've been messing around with my width and height. I'll set it back to what it was. So we're going to modify height. And that should be fine. Yep, there we go. We got our thing. I have renderer. My FPS commented out. So let's run that again. Yep. You see we have a rectangle now. Now what if we wanted to fill in this rectangle? Well, let's add in a fill rect, which is pretty straightforward. And there's actually less code. So we'll draw a rect. I'm going to copy some code over here. I just want this for loop and this for loop because it's the same for loop, but we're going to put the for loops inside of each other. And this should be draw fill rect. So that's simple as setting set pixel x plus off x, y plus off y, color. And there we go. Now we have a filled rectangle. So if I come in here and I change this to fill rect, and we run it, our rectangle is now filled in. Perfect. Now these kind of things are useful for like making GUIs and stuff like that. Or just simple, like you want to have like a selection, that's good for that as well. So we have our draw rect, draw fill rect. Now we can add in clipping code for this as well, and we might as well add in clipping code for it. So we're going to do the same kind of dealio here. for our draw rect. So might as well just copy this code up here. So draw rect, boom. We gotta change some code. So if our offset x is less than negative width, and our offset less than y is less than height, and this is width. And this is all pretty straightforward. It's just copy and paste. Just changing some variables around, and that will give us what we want. We got to change these to new x, or new y, because that's the y, and this is new height. Copy it over. New x, new width. Right. Oh, actually, we don't need. Actually, the code's going to be slightly different for the fill rect, because the draw rect is drawing two separate lines. So if we do that, actually, I think it'll move it back over, which we don't want it to make the box clip into the screen, because this one's not filled in. So actually, we don't need to do the same kind of line, kind of code here. Actually, yeah. I'm not sure if the clipping code will be more efficient here, just because it's simply two for loops. This may all be for naught. I'm not going to do the clipping code for the draw rect, but I will do it for the fill rect. Oh no, I lost my copy. Let's grab this back. Right. Yep. Control Y, Control Y. That's weird. Why did I get rid of height? We're not going to clip the hollow rectangle, but I'll clip the fill rectangle because a nested for loop is a lot more resource intensive than just two individuals. So if we do that, it should all just work just fine. New height, new width. There we go. So doing this will save us loops in our code. And I'm going to test that. I'm going to just set it equal to my same thing, mouse x, minus 10, minus 16 actually. We'll put it in the middle of our cursor. So it'll be gc.get input, get mouse y, minus 16. There you go. And it works just fine. By the way, if you're wondering, it says 60 FPS because that's what our frame rate is locked into. If you want to see what we're getting without locking it, which can be helpful sometimes, you just change this render from false to true in our game container. And now it uncaps our frame rate. So we're getting 3,390 FPS right now. And if I slide this off, it goes up, and I can pull it back. It doesn't really change much. It's a small cube. Let's make it bigger. This clipping code should save us some frames. Let's make it 200. We're gonna make it a really big cube. 200. So it's gonna be a 400 by 400 square. Right? Oh geez, talk about a big boy. All right, we're at 3,000 FPS here in the corner. 350, 3,500, and I pull it in the middle, and we're at 3,100. So you can see it does save some frame rates for when we're drawing really big images. So yeah, the next thing I want to change in my renderer is that we have it ignoring this specific color in general because it looks bad, you know. But we could actually implement alpha rendering, which we will actually implement alpha fading. I don't think we'll have time in this video, probably the next episode we'll do that. But I'm going to change this, and instead of looking for this specific number, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, or value offsetted by 24 and 0xff. Actually, it's the other way around. So if I if I bit shift my value to the right by 24, and then and it with 255, that will give me the alpha value of this color, right? So I'm going to put all this in parentheses just to make it nice and neat. So if this does is equal to 0, then it's alpha. It's opaque. It's invisible, transparent, right? That's what I'm looking for. Now, if I save that, that should. Now here's my question. It's still rendering the FPS with a dark background. That's interesting. Oh yeah, because we actually don't take into consideration with that font because we skip it anyways because we look for the white. But we need an image to test this on. So we have this guy. Let's test it on our test image. Right? I need to reinitiate it because I got rid of that code. Private image equals new image. Images, right? Or did I give it a folder? No, I didn't. It's just sitting in our resource. So we'll import that. And we'll draw it. Let me get rid of this. Let's just call it draw image. Image. And we'll draw at the mouse cursor. Boom. Perfect. Alright. So now if I render this. Oh wait. Get rid of that offset. Alright. We now see our pink. Because we weren't rendering it before, but now we are. So we added a color to our values that we could render. But we need to actually change this image in order for it to work with our new render. And in order to do that in GIMP, I need to add an alpha channel. And then I am going to select all the pink and delete it. And now it's transparent. So if I export this as test.png and then run it, we have our transparency back. It's actually transparency now. So we can actually use that pink in our images if you need to, or have a desire to. I don't know why you'd want to, but hey, now you have another color. So yeah, that is a nice little fix there. So now we actually have alpha calling. Now if our alpha is not 0, but it's not 1, we need to blend it with the pixels in the background, which will be the subject of our next video here. So I'm going to leave it here right now. Comment, rate, subscribe, and thanks for watching.